Hello and welcome. Let's see if it stays on. It's Thursday, 26th of September 2019. A conversation I'm going to bring to you that I've had a lot of conversations and I don't reference and copy them all down as such as this, but shadow contracts, fear and misery versus basic minimum income. You may have heard of B.M.I. They've recently gone insolvent, into receivership. They were B.M.I. baby. There was a, I don't know, international commercial maritime freight liner of cargo chattel people, basic minimum income. So what I'm going to do here is bring to you this podcast and video log is brought to you by the letter G and the shape of a star, the cube, the tesseract, and myself. So a Dave and Greg original SPLspro.com production. This time it is our work, it is our stuff. I hear all of the shills and the trolls, but this is the price you pay for honesty, I'm afraid. And secret, state secret, shadow, operative, functionality, mechanics, hidden directorate. So we have the great pleasure, as long as this system holds up. I'm just need to check a few things in a minute. And we're going to unfold our arms, relax. If you'd like to get a pen, make some notes. We've got 3,965 words across 10 pages. I've got a lot to do today. Nobody panic. We are on it. It's on like Gaviscon. It used to be Donkey Kong. Once you get over 40, you swap Donkey for Gabby. Not that I drink that stuff, but wow. So thank you to G. When we are needing to do website work, we do not talk like this. We get on with the job at hand. When all of the jobs and the duties are done, Greg likes to chat, which is something that's happened that I might like to do, and we have a relationship as brothers, as well as a separate relationship to the design, construction, and improvement of the domain.com and the integration into there. So he's got a very astute intellect, of which I'm humbled and privileged and honoured to be in the presence of. Now, when I hear, like with Josh and Andy and others out there, yourselves, your scribes and your videos, when I hear certain keywords, there's a little higher self that he's jumping up and down inside, and is and I'm being quiet, but inside I am alive with things, and I'm hearing, and the hairs start standing up, and I go running off, and then I lose the thread, and I come back in, and I'm like, ah! So this is one of them moments, all right? So if you've ever wondered about this plausible deniability of what's going on here, whom and why, then Greg and I, we're not naming anybody specifically, but nefarious and sociopathic negative energies is going to go into a bit of David Icke area here. And remember, it's just a conversation that I've tried to cobble together in some way. It's not finished, and it will be uploaded with the other documents that we've done. I have done a few of these babbles now, and if you hold there, I have, in amongst everything else we're uploading and doing, a piece on Caesar's Messiah. We've got Josh X's alphabet broken down A to Z as he breaks it down chronologically, phonetically. We've got a publication I've written, Life Mechanics, Man's Will and Man's Intelligence. We've got Sumerian Maths 9432, which is going to come into the Tesseract and later in this publication. We've got the Book of Daniel 2 study from the KJV. So we're doing all right. We've got some assets here. This is an asset. If I've ever had a conversation with you that's meaningful and you're thinking, well, you didn't write this one down, and that's because at this moment in time, exactly where we are with what I heard, I had the inclination to write this down. I'm very busy, and it's not like I have time to write down conversations and make videos and do all of this. But this one, I believe, much like Joan of Arc, I was sent a message here, not voices in my head, the numbers, all right? There's a number system running here, and this is why we're all here today on the 26th of September 2019, Thursday. Great godly things are done on Thursday. Thank you, Josh. And I'm going to continue now. Shadow contracts, fear and misery versus basic minimum income. To Jeremy Corbyn, he is up. To QE2, he is up. To the Council of Foreign Affairs and Relations and everybody, the York right, the Scottish right, he is up. This is a pinnacle moment in man's time. Sorry, I've built it up. I'm excited. You know what I get like. Don't tell Anne-Marie you saw this in here. I will be in trouble. Yanka's not very well. At the academy, the indoctrination camp, they're not allowed to wear coats in the room of indoctrination, classroom. The windows are open. So what's happened here is she's ended up getting cold, frozen. They're not allowed to wear their coats. Really? Not allowed to wear your coat. So when I heard that, I went, okay, that's easily fixed. So she's off today with cold, sniffles, weakness, dizziness. She might be going through asthma, coming on, actually onset. So we kept her off. I'm going to send an email later. So if I have to disappear, that's why. Excellent. Shadow contracts, fear and misery versus basic minimum income. At the age of 40, right now, we, you, the scribes, are going through the journey and the timeline of life, a continuum, okay? This chat has been transcribed from a recent and private conversation I had with G-Star the other day. And we spoke about when we were 20, what we did, how we was, our characters, lives, jobs, energy, relationships. We're at ease here, all right, soldiers, at ease, take everything off. Not take me word for word, it's just a chat, all right? So 20, it's a dangerous age, and for many reasons. Those of you that are now around 40, 45, 50-ish, you know, anything, you know, 60, 70, you can look back and you can reflect and know exactly what we are saying. If you are 20 right now and you're scratching your head, I know what you're thinking right now. You are in more danger, allegedly. We would say, myself and Greg. Yeah, these are our points of view, not SPL's, not the channels, just mine and Greg's. Yes, you are in more danger when you are in your teenage years than in any other time in your life, even perhaps than when you are a baby. People are getting killed these days for items of technology worth only hundreds of pounds and credits. When man gets to 40 years of age, it's a good poignant number, 40 for many reasons, we start to experience the body slowing down as it gets older. If you are unlucky, disease and illness and back problems will start to set in. If you get to 40 and you have no infections, no problems, anatomically, you've done very well, especially in this day and age in 2019. Life shows you wonderful areas once you get to the mid-age, we'll call it semi-mature age of 40. It's written as 40 years in the wilderness, and here we are. Crucifixion or freedom? That is indeed the question. To be or not to be? How do you see? As woman, man, finds ourselves right now in this consciousness movement, we find that we are working afloat in the commercial seas, and she is never a happy mistress. She always wants you to speed up and become more productive. When I was in the warehouse and I was managing, in my time, it was KPI, 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 KPI. And what does that mean, everyone? That's a commercial, production measurement term of every hour. There needs to be a key performance index of 40 items picked. If you've picked 5, we need to know why. If you've picked 100, we need to say well done and thank you. So that's what KPI is. Profits generally over health and compassion. Comments about workplaces where you may have had an accident due to breaches of health and safety legislation, executive infractions, cutting corners, training, licensing, falling off loading bays. I know know them that have had heart attacks in the back of trailers, have driven electronic battery operated fork trucks on the back of a loading bay when driver drives off, braking. This is a 1.5 ton machine that you're on. It's got no canopy, no roll bar. He's going to load a pallet onto a truck. The truck with its plate, docking plate, pulls off, and Lado's gone. That unforgivable. So you get me. It happens every day. So we go into this, warship in voluntary servitude. We accept the national debt, claiming the national insurance number from 18 years of age, committing carnal sin, as Brother Smithy has brought to us so eloquently. So right now, I will speak for myself and not Greg at this point, a sovereign, hermetic, self-initiate that resides in the private, spiritually, morally, lawfully. We are morally objected to the current secret shadow contracts, JFK, One Love, placed upon man. The shadow contracts, these are what are bringing woe, man, and our acquaintances, our family, tribes and loved ones to pressure points and breaking points. We are forced to go against our spiritual and natural order. See the Atlanteans and the Hopi tribe to get what we're saying there. Mark Pazio, brilliant natural order and the law of things there. There are others, so for those that don't quite grasp natural order, Fibonacci, Phi, these are the natural order, seed of life, germ of life, flower of life, not in that order. These are the evidence of the creator and the mathematics and the code against the origin of species and whatever from Darwin and the Big Bang. So we go to breaking points. We're going out of the natural realm against the mathematics of nature and the lines and the frequency and the modulation, all in the name of money, profits, and sometimes it is for love, but for the love of power and the love of money, an overall warship, geopolitical. Let's go find the lithium, everyone, because now we're going to build battery operated cars. So we've got geopolitical, you see, for the love of power and money and greed. Man's here with water technology. Others have created it. They've died. They've disappeared. They've been shot. It's been patented. And here we are again, still making that same noise. Woman's health and family members, our offspring, property, they're unnecessarily put at risk. Sis stars and bro stars, they are the original tribes of man, the heirs to the estate of the realm. We're getting sick and we're dying for good health. Our offspring are now taking a physical and mental depressive hit. UK search dispatches and mental health in the UK schools. Sons and daughters, this is, in schools, medication, neurological toxic drugs, GPs running experiments, assigning prescriptions for, and self-harm and suicide. Alarm bells, everybody. This has gone way past the line of no return. Tax, profits and time should not dictate our waking lives. See, we are all handicapped, not just the less abled, with regards to money, the debt, the finance, your liability in legal and law, claims and spiritual, religion and spiritual. You see, so there's a great many areas to re-edit. Then we have the weak and the vulnerable ones in our family. These would be equivalent to an injured gazelle in the Serengeti, okay, Lion King fans, the circle of life. The injured, the weak, the less able, they get eaten up in the wild. Why? Because they are handicapped and they are vulnerable. They are unable to defend the attacks or indeed run away. So the animals in Africa, Serengeti, places as where there are like wildebeest, they will join up as one to perhaps protect a little, tribal member of their tribe. Wildebeest, they will see and sense a predatory attack coming from the horizon. Yes, their eyes are on the horizon and they have real eyes to realise the real lies. There may be a cheetah with the sheep on like a judge, the judiciary realm with the we're all equal, look, we're wearing the same sheep's clothing here. And the wildebeest will detect and smell and sense despite whatever deceptive measure, guise, persona, mask that they adorn there in that realm, and they will put the little wildebeest in the middle, and all the tribe will surround, and they will face out to the oncoming attacking predator, and in numbers the weak and defenseless and pure will fend off the predatory attack. But if they all run away and think of themselves, and leave the little one with the broken leg, okay, bump, it's a done deal. So it's better to fight and defend. When I say fight, I mean with a pen. Battles are done on paper, not physically. Battles are done in the mind, battles are done in the spiritual realm, battles are done in the banking, you know, these are the battles we're on about. The fists are in the pockets. So let me introduce you all to one area of our family that we at SPL's Pro and others out there are extremely worried about and want to help immediately. Less abled, handicapped. Let's talk about savants. These aren't the only ones, but this will give you a clue and an idea. If you don't know what a savant is, please go check them out. These are extremely loving, members of our family, labelled by the academics and the Rockefeller medical institutions, foundations, medical associations as allegedly retarded. All right, that's not my word. I don't want to use that too many times, but the academic institutes classify these less abled members of the family a different type of intelligence and consciousness. All right, as retarded. Rain Man, Jeopardy at 6 o'clock. You will find more research there for you. Dustin Hoffman, I think it was, that played that role. So handicapped, less able tribes and noblemen, not physically like the gazelle with the broken leg in the Serengeti, but our brothers and sisters here are equally as important and have the same rights under law and legally as fully able man. They will, in my opinion, reign supreme compared to fully abled man. Much like, I would say, is it Homo erectus, we'll call it caveman, reigning supreme to current modern day man now. Because the caveman was bigger, it was stronger, lived longer, allegedly, I wasn't there, and had a bigger brain, did better things compared to us and our simple, busy lives where we couldn't outmatch a caveman in intelligence right now. So that's my opinion again through the research I've done. Savants and general less abled. Let me think, there are many areas. I don't want to go through all the pigeonhole of the names, alright? I've done this on purpose. You can add your own area of less abled. You can think of ones that you know, that you've met, cast yourselves back and put them into this frame here, alright? So the less abled and mentally impaired, much like this, we'll call them savants from this point onwards. They have a different mind and ment than us. This is G speaking heavily more than me now. I remember this. The mind, it flows freely. Numbers are shown as visual shapes, etc. They work at a different level neurologically compared to man. Intelligent man's allegedly modern day intelligent Western normal non-handicapped man's linear level of thinking. That's going all right so far. We're holding it. Is the sound good? I hope so. Yes, nice one. 23. Aye for Thursday, thank you. Let's crack on. Lovely thumbnail, isn't it? I don't endorse that thumbnail. I don't use that lightly, but it'll catch a few eyes on the listing, won't it? The shadow contracts. All right. In another way, savants are less socially capable and lack the ability to perform a simple task like we can. And we can look to join this family and stop segregating them, isolating them and labelling them, and they can actually help us and we can help them equally, like a two-way street. The time and the resources and the love we would give to taking them out of these systems that they're in where they're getting abused and neglected. We can prove that. That's not a claim I can't prove. So, we can do that ourselves. We can control the credit. We can administer, possibly, you see, and do a better job. Why wouldn't you want to do that? There's enough of us with time and no resources and means. So, the offspring, there's been a father in the courts raising the point that his 12-year-old daughter was sanctioned and isolated in a medical institution, allegedly, so I heard on BBC Radio 2, and it was on Today with John Thingy, who's now retired, and he said that he was launching an independent High Court appeal case claim for the fact his daughter at 12 had been drugged and isolated for 2 years. Yeah, that makes me want to be sick saying it again. All right, there's sick things going off, and I'm not responsible for them, But here we are, me and G care deeply about this. You do, Andy does, but this is about me and G, and this is where we're at. This is amongst everything else and all of the grandeur. When you see about PCNs and mortgages and notice of equitable charges, they're nothing compared to when you get down to the bare bones of the shadow, fear and misery. All right, when we get down to it, I'm sorry, the mechanics need to be exposed in many ways, and this is our way. And our thoughts, all right. So we're on savants, all right. We're still saying that we were looking at the family, why we'd like to join them, what they could offer us, because allegedly they're useless. They're on the scrap heap, they're drugged up, they're put in a room, the doors closed, you know, a bit like the animals and the way they're dealt. I'm sorry, I'm on a mission of late, the build up to Xmas. I've got a job to do, and I've been told to hurry up. The numbers, all right. So these shadow contracts, these things that we have agreed to, but they have not been disclosed to us. Quinn, you comment the other day, boom, that's that there. Assumed upon woe man, all right? We don't realise this. We have no knowledge of it. A contract that has been made, and something is now expected from man. Not our persons, from man, all right? There is a system of these mechanics as to how this shadow contract has been produced, interwoven and layered like a layer cake of life into all aspects of our present lives. Then we look at our former relationships, acquaintances, friends, partners, a codependent relationship of any kind. When you have the narcissistic, sociopathic energies of this construct and contract, these are working at a deceptive lower level. We see that they are working in what is known as the lack matrix. I'm getting quite energetic about this. I want to calm down a bit, and I get too, I come on all calm and relaxed and focused, and we get into the document. We're on page 2. All right, just bear with. Amazing information. Please don't tell Anne-Marie. Sorry about the cup. I endorse nothing except love and law. And because everything narcissistic and sociopathic, you know, these energies do, everything these narcissistic and sociopathic energies do is in the lack matrix. Everything about is about competition and profit. There is no love and there is no well-being of our offspring and the animal and plant kingdom, or even for yourself, for man in general. The corporate world and, you know, equity, common law and equity can't live together. They are two opposing forces in the hermetic areas of natural law. So we at SPOs Pro and you out there are now happily moving our minds and our property and our feelings. We are ascending into a new consciousness and vibrational frequency. We are part of the consciousness development movement, or movement development. And as we raise forward and move our consciousness higher into love and abundance, that's something we're all missing, abundance, everything is and will start to change furthermore. There you go. For example, 1 minute, I don't endorse or promote anything, just this is references, and these were G's words, but we're saying them anyway. For 1 minute, Yahoo used to be the top dog, or AOL. For those that are old enough like us to remember the creation and the you know, the outline of the dial-up, I can't remember how to, the dial-up KPS, you know, 54 megabytes dial-up modem that was in your desktop that used to dial up and screech like a fax, yeah? So 1 minute it was them, then it was Google, you know, and other such internet service providers that I don't wish to name. I'll keep them to a minimum. Overnight then we had the success of a book of faces. Yes, these are examples of which we refer to. And also we have the 100th monkey principle, which is a good area for you to project your mind into. You know, again, 1 minute businesses regulations were very strict and tight. There was no flexibility. It was strict 9 to 5 in the 1980s and previous. All right, generally. Now in 2019, everybody, every slave, citizen, employee, agent has the option for flexibility or to perhaps work from home. These methods have now become openly acceptable. We have accepted the standards, or we have accepted standards over the last 10 years that we have never accepted before, and they are also now globally recognised. It's the same thing here. There's going to be a new wave of globally accepted standards, and as man moves forward and starts to develop consciousness, their consciousness, the consciousness movement further, being conscionable, aka awake. Ergo, the shadow contracts are going to start to become void in people's consciousnesses and ments and minds. There will now be a bright LED super powered focus spotlight geo tracking and light shining on the shadow contracts, whereas before they were hidden secretly in the dark, covered in plausible deniability. Now they will no longer be in the dark shadows. They can now be viewed in the light. We view them as quite a demonic negative construct. The bankers and the 1% are connecting something to us that is not something we have agreed to or are even aware of. Now, that brings me to H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu. There's a 22-hour video on YouTube in 2 minutes 34 seconds. Yeah, not that you need much more than 22 hours. The full presentation. I know about Lovecraft and I've looked into them, I've had to. And I'm interested in energies and tentacles and dimensions and contracts and shadows, Ike and others. I'll leave it there. The bankers and 1%, yeah, much like taking the Father's name, taking in vain property, etc. as well. He who does not know he has any rights, therefore has no rights. Maxim of law, UK. Let's see who will be deceived, for example. There are two. These are two of the United Kingdom's maxims, all right? Let he who will be deceived be deceived. He who does not know he has any rights, therefore has no rights. Man is responsible for our own consciousness development by your own free will and choice. If you choose not to develop your consciousness, then we are guilty by our own tacit acquiescence, ignorance. In the age of information, well then, the applied ignorance is indeed a choice made by the self. When ignorant to the facts and truth, man will therefore be taken advantage of, usurped, subjugated and subrogated by the predatory Ready? Who by? By the predatory, totalitarian tiptoe, the divided pagan club of Rome, the vampiristic and parasitical agents. Greg didn't say all of that. He said quite a lot. I think he said predatory and vampiristic, parasitical agents, and I've gone predatory, totalitarian, tiptoe, divided, pagan, club of Rome, the vampiristic and parasitical agents. Say that a few times, yeah, get that in a tune. It is an evil, dark energy, force, entity. We feel and encounter this every day in our line of work. Indeed we do. Psychic, parasitic, predatory, energy, vampirism. I will say that again, as it's rather a mouthful. Psychic, parasitic, predatory, energy, vampirism. Phew! Hey, are you loving this? How cool was this for a conversation? I'm like, and you're building websites. When are you making a book? Why won't you write something down? Please let me share this. You know, this is a form of mental and spiritual opportunism, theft, all right? Equity thieves, well, spiritual and energy thieves are the next level. Nothing else. Whilst man is not conscionable, conscious, awake, you know, you are asleep then, the walking dead, we are not conscious, and the shadow contract is assume over woman like a virus in the Walking Dead. See also Doom Annihilation 2019. They've decided to put some Sumerian ancient Mesopotamian text in Doom 2019 for you, and they've written it in blood. Very, very interesting. More messages right from the past about demonic, satanic time portal. I'm not endorsing Doom 2019. I reviewed it, as I always do, for information and messages. The software and orders are installed in us right from 0 to 7, and you don't know the software is running in the background. Cognitive dissonance, all right? Here we go. We have this with our contracts with people, with man now. So when you have relationships, acquaintances and agreements and pacts and covenants, these systems and energies are running constantly in the background, but it could be good ones as well. All right, we actually have the opposite side. We're using the good side. We believe we're not using any of this. All right, there's no black candles and stars and blood and children and things and yeah, the car bar is going opposite. Right ascension meridian, they will be going left ascension meridian. You know. So it's like a mental and spiritual energy, Greg said, pushing and pulling, and I agreed. As I mentioned with the relationships above, you have agreed to something unknowingly with non-disclosure, and there are psychological phenomena and effects that have now happened and transpired. Changes have gone off and are going off. Fractured psyche, let alone in the beginning there was the word, and then the Big Bang. Okay, the form, the actual basic scientific rule that energy cannot be created and energy cannot be destroyed. I'm so in trouble if I spill this, right? Energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. But yet those that believe in the Big Bang believe that the rules of the I don't know what to say about it, the physical and the realm there of science on all areas, physics generally, means that you've bust them because you've said that the Big Bang came and the universe was created from nothing. So you've broken the primary rule, and so there we go. You see about all of this, and you're told when you're little, and the cognitive dissonance, and then they go, here's the Big Bang, and they want you to separate from the divine and go and just love it and do it, all right, and think about no consequences at your peril. So there's the energies and the psychological. There's more to it. There's a lot more to it. I'm going to bring out the publications and we'll order them for those that want to follow. And if you want to add and expand upon this and be named and referenced, then that's what we'll do. An open source publication of away from law but into natural law for those. I know there's a lot of you out there that love this kind and you're waiting for. And if you want to build upon this, then send it back, edit, correct, go for it. It'll be on the .com soon. You have agreed to something, psychological phenomena and effects that have now happened. When you meet, if you now are in what we call the victim consciousness, you will be taken advantage of a lot. For example, do you know about this? Do you follow? Do you know what the victim consciousness is? Because a lot of us and a lot of man are presently in it all around the realm, and now our sons and daughters and offspring. They're always upset when they come back from the academy. They're very rarely happy. They're stressed and subdued and been sanctioned and worried and got homework and they've got issues and what? And they're only little. They've lost their ID card. They haven't got authority to put the coat on. They're getting sick, and now we get to being adults, and when they're little, they've already got nothing. So what happens when this generation become to finally get to 18? They're not going to have much, are they? And we're letting this happen. Boris, High Courts, fantastic. I can't keep track of it. This is what I focus on. So when we talk about savants and members of the family with learning difficulties and less abled, what they have is they don't have the ability to connect into the contaminated consciousness, all right? The energies and stress and anxiety and greed, they are pure love. And this is where Greg's going. They're pure love. He was very passionate at this point. The hairs. Greg and the universe are saying thank you. And he was going, it's pure love, Dave, and he was on it now. This is the peak of the conversation. There was a lot of passion like I am here. And he's saying most of the time, they're so busy being full of love. Yeah, they would prefer to die, gladly die, than do any harm to another man, animal, or living entity. Or in most cases, they would gladly give up their own life so that they don't even know, that they would give, so you could have yours. I would put 90% bet on that. Now, how many of us right now, and you could say that about yourselves in the chase for Bitcoin and profits and mortgages and cars and technologies and houses and it's just ridiculous. Weddings costing 50 grand. What are we doing? What are we doing? So how many of you could say that about yourselves, Fully abled bodies have become used to this current system accustomed to the shadow contracts, and we've started to drag our bodies around in our busy lives, and then we come home. Now this is to the ladies, and we what do? Some of us, wine o'clock, yeah, a full bottle of wine between tea time and bedtime. Perhaps if you're not an alcoholic and you don't like the taste of it, I know ones that cook with alcohol, especially vodka and red wine. My mum, she always makes a spaghetti bolognese with just a splash of red wine. My mate, brother Rocco, from back in, I think it was with Matthew as well. I think he made a vodka lasagna back in the mid-90s, and once man's had that, there was a sleeping to be having. So alcohol, medicating, we allow ourselves to mentally deal with it, physically self-medicate for our current stress, sorry, misery, pestilence, heartache, etc. Families, offspring, commitments, finances, death grips, in a financial, constitutional way. And it's no wonder that now some of us, mans, are unable to deal with this. The psyche and the conscious can only deal with so much of this going around, and sometimes it breaks, it gives up, it cannot speak, it fails to function. You see the GP, he doesn't really know what to do, so he writes you a note out to practice on you with neurological left and right brain. Maybe, we're going away. We are going to start up in the Republic of Ireland, I'd like to think, a medical research centre that is separate and private away from the de facto the non-de jure systems that we have here in the realm and the institutions, and let's go pure herbal and independent. If that is a possibility, I'd like to explore it. Anybody in Southern Ireland that has a private holistic herbal type research facility complex, common unity cooperative, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to come and see you. I'd like to bring what we've got to you, all of it, okay? And the fam. This is for real and serious. So we're not allowed to psychically, spiritually, it's against everything. You're in sin, your brain gives up. It's a bit like these chickens in the warehouses. When there's 50,000 chickens in one warehouse, yes? You've heard of the pecking order, okay? And the rules of the roost, and there's lots of chicken related sayings that we have. Pecking order is what we're talking about. You better know your place in this global military spiritual pecking order. And when there's 50,000 chickens in a warehouse farm, the cock sorry, but the cockerels and the roosters stateside, we love you, try and remember you at all time and transfer the babble, they want to stand up and look, and the weak ones that aren't able to get feed and might have a broken leg would get looked after by that honcho, the not the hen, the cock, the rooster. And because there's so many, like there is here in the streets, my brain, but yeah, gathered up, we've got, where the big man on the street, the big woman, whoever it was, the trustee, the go-to guy would look after everybody, but now we've gone like, and everybody's different and offended and scared and whatnot. We're like 50,000 chickens shoved into a tiny space, whereas before we had management, structure, order, control, organic, grown, allotments, vegetables, everybody talked, doors were left open. It was a functional, responsible, healthy, strong, diligent, conscious community, as opposed to now, there's not one of them, even a scratch, a shred, a taste of any of those. So the chickens, they can't control the management because there's too many, they're overloaded, and it's just a free-for-all. It's just an example to say of something recent that just disturbed me very much. I had a little tear. I cried for chickens, I don't mind saying. I cried. Dominion is the video. Vegetarians, do not watch it. Please read a description about it. Get a synopsis on that. I would urge you strongly not to watch Dominion. But if you want to stop eating meat and you're not currently a vegetarian and you would like to get some information about the possible treatment and abuse of systems and animals and law and love, then we are responsible for what you are about to see as a family, not individuals. And this is it again. With these, we are responsible as a family. When I go back to Birmingham and I see all of these destitute areas, estates that they are under the poverty line. They have crap everywhere, mattresses, black bags, rats, bins, cat shit, dog shit, things burning. Nothing is good. in them areas that are deprived. Again, that's the community's fault. Man's are walking past it. We've got action happening, a bit like the ghost fishing that's going out down south. Shout out to the ghost fishers. If you don't know what ghost fishing is, I'm splintering, but there you go. So dealing with it mentally is where is splintering on. Physically, we allow it to some extent. If you tolerate this, then your children, offspring, property, assets, sons and daughters will be next, will be next, will be next, will be next. Exactly. So being a sociopath is deviant. Deception is indeed a trait of war. We're on page 4 of 10 for those that are in a rush. Yank, are you okay? I'll hopefully be another hour. The narcissist and the sociopath are the ones that are responsible for these systems and shadow contracts. You cannot be a sane, loving, spiritual, holy, normal man, mind, and actively desire the men and women of the world to be under this regime, where we see souls being traded via bonds and certification, a corrupted language, laws, religion, science, and credit debt. You cannot be sane and enforce this current system. Man goes along with it because he is subject to the force of law, subservient, and does not know whom he is. Mixed up in a constant torrent of negative energies. That's when they say living in sin. It isn't positive and flowing. It is in the lack matrix, LACK. At some point, consciousness is going to raise up and it's going to switch. Greg was still passionate at this point from the point before. Just as Yahoo to Google, I'm thinking what will happen with consciousness is like what happened before when Yahoo died and then Google rose up. But some of us, look at it. Hermetic self-governing sovereign Christians or Christian sovereigns are all currently Hermetic self-governing Christian sovereigns, I know, are all currently in ascension and switching to a new, higher, unique frequency. We are willing to adapt and we are ready to switch because we don't have the material hang-ups like the crack addicts of the Bank of England and the monarchies and the international federations, nations, united, dangerous places there. We will not give any resistance to change. We are the change we want to see in the realm. For some, at the conscionable level vibration, the change and move will be easy. You will flow right into it. You will hit the jet stream and you will be the best ever version you've ever been. You will feel loved. You will feel in place. You will feel like you belong. Others, they will feel that they are losing everything, their way of life, their possessions, all that they've worked towards, then they will be the ones that are looking retarded. Last time I'm going to use that word, like the so-called savants. They will be the ones going backwards now, being narcissistic and sociopathic. That's a mental illness of the mind. The savants are a beautiful, that's the last time, are a beautiful and loving, man. They are beautiful and loving with talent and creativity and abilities that just need some support and help, guidance perhaps, mentoring, protecting. We are getting to the bottom of it now, you see, all the detail on how the mechanics of life, money, law, word, psychological, spiritual and mental areas are all areas where our intentions are presently focused on, and if they're not, when they should be, not all, but just pick one of them. Law is one of the most ancient subjects known to man. It is an ancient system developed over thousands of years, an incredible continuum, and it is an incredible story in itself, and often at times it is overwhelming and complex because of the way they've done it, history, the true history. Man is now in a technological age of Aquarius, moving and projecting forwards. How then do we make it so we move and continue in the right direction for us now, for the animals, for the plants and our unborn lineage? After all, there's no point just having technology and AI supporting corrupt, sociopath, narcissistic, murdering Nazis of the divided pagan club of Rome. Let me introduce you to automated benefits and the universal credits income. Automated. Hello, Auto Sergey. comparethemarket.com, comparethebenefits.com. See what I'm saying? The present corrupt system is to be redrafted. And if AI is supporting sociopaths right now, the AI is going to be programmed to do some pretty nefarious actions and things. Let's have a look at China right now, everybody. Such as execute commands. That's what computers do. They execute commands without any emotiveness. A hidden directorate is at play. Possibly the same continuum that is responsible for man's progenics. Look at police forces and the heart system they're looking at, and AI programming that the current Met Office are using right now to deter future crime. This is the same gang that covered the Tesseract and said affiliated hyperdimensional geometry that we have just uncovered. You don't know what a Tesseract is? Yes, and a hyperdimensional geometry. Watch Transformers. We are now at the point now where we see that consciousness is facing a technological and spiritual crossroads where we will be judged in 50, 100, 500. In the future, we're going to be judged what we do now, like we're judging what they did back then. The Crusades. What we decide to do and how we decide to proceed right now, and with the technology and the trust law that we have to hand. We see already from the destitute cities such as Birmingham, the food banks and the suffering, the torture self-inflicted upon man by their ignorance. You know, we're not going to allow misery and legal murder via sanctioning to continue. We're not, no. And it will come to a fulcrum that will be reached, and it will break one way or the other, whether it be the UN, the EU, Germany, martial law, number 10, or man itself. In this way of life, you know, we're not going to tolerate this forever. So from our research, all these political and financial systems have a shelf life and eventually crumble and or collapse. Research fiat monetary systems and you will find out what happens to all of them. I think there's been about 800 of them since they were first coined. What is being asked of man presently today is totally unacceptable, spiritually and morally. We are, you know, we know and we realise, hence why people get home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and drink a glass of wine, have a cone-shaped cigarette, or go to the pub, or sniff a line, or go out and go to the gym, and God bless you for the ones that do this and just beat and train and hammer it and get them evil energies out and do it the holistic way and try to stay pure, and meditation, dealing with, not going down the usual avenues. So respect for you if you're one of those. Wine o'clock. You would never drink a bottle of wine a day unless you are literally suffering. I'm not judging. Not at all. There's no judging here. It's a conversation. We are supposed to wake up in the morning, rise, you know, good rising, and then for the day we've got to survive, hunt, gather. There's no sense of freedom, pleasure or love, very rarely. Monday to Friday, 7 days of the week, you know. There's no lunar message here for 7 days in the week. Right, the Bible again. It says in there, it says in the Bible about the 7 days and the resting and the Sabbath and everything. So everything considered in the Bible, right, we keep the 7 day week everywhere. You tell me a country, a nation, except an indigenous tribe that are not westernised, that don't adhere to the 7 day week. Fair enough, the Sabbath has been swapped and we've messed it around and we're out of sync with calendars, but the 7 day week, you know, in the beginning he created matter, light, time. In the beginning he created, there was the word, the word, that's where we're at, the word. Well, that stands for the equivalent of matter, time, you know, liquids, many things, flower of life, seed of life, mathematics, it's translation of. So it says the 7 day week. There's nothing up above in the stars about the 7 day week. There's nothing anywhere in maths that brings us Fibonacci, phi and other algorithms and you know, number patterns and rhythms that we've seen as evidences, like the cactus I showed you the other day. So the 7 is honoured still. Why? Well, nothing else is honoured from that book, but yet we've got the 7 day week and we've got these ruined. It's just insane. So just remember, when you're hearing me and you're thinking and you're doing, because I know what's happening in your brain, I've been there, and I know what road you're on, and I'm just trying to help a little bit because I didn't have this back then. So, you know, trying to keep to the thread. Wine o'clock, you know, morning. I got this from morning, rising, weekend. You know, we've been through this enough now. Why we do this? We expected to take out a huge contract with a private bank for a mortgage and over 25 years. And sometimes, maybe, you would have to remortgage endowment policies that went wrong and so forth. And you will have to work longer then to get it paid off, or the interest paid off. We know about mortgages. I know it, you know, just this is loosely. In light of everything, it's a good point to make, is it not? It's because everybody does grasp the concept. And it's a very big, one of the biggest things you'll ever do, other than siring offspring. And maybe you will be asked to work longer to pay it off. You know, if your retirement age is 68, you know, as it is now thereabouts, they will simply raise the retirement age from 68 to 70. What they do best, which is changing the rules as they go along, moving goalposts, which is pathetically obvious. There is an agenda here. We cannot live like this. We're doing the best that we are able to find happiness and that we can to escape from our daily pressure and tribulations. And as soon as we get home, we hit the bottle or something else. We start self-medicating to deal with this. The weekends are a disgrace. They are for a great many, not all, but you know, in a city centre full of sin and sex, violence, anger, lager, spirits, cocaine, to boot. I DJ'd for a great many years. I'm guilty of being in this. I'm not perfect, I'm not a saint. I can tell you, that's what it's about, generally for most. English, traditional, piss-ups and fights. I am disgraced as I sit here in front of you, my family. I'm not judging you. I was a party master as an international club bar DJ. I am a guilty one, whom has now gotten a bee in his Scotch bonnet and is subsequently now on it. There is a national and perhaps a global epidemic of mental health on a massive and growing scale of degrees. And not everybody is up there at the suicidal point. There are many in the lower vibratory state that are working their way up to, for years and years, you know, this poor quality of life, man's quality of life has been taken away and the quality has been submitted and reduced to slave and servant status. We are no longer able or allowed to be happy as far as we can tell. You know, it is only the people that have found financial freedom that are allegedly happy, equitable relief. They have escaped the burden and pressures of it all. So the universal basic income, Jeremy, UK government, Queen Elizabeth II, would be provided for all basic human rights and social amenities, such as water, shelter, rent, food, taking care of all the basic needs of an individual woman. You have then solved the above listed concerns and problems as far as we can see. In this present system right now, the quickest, fastest and most morally correct and universally fair and effective way for us to get a solution over the realm now, Obamacare and everybody, Trump, UN, it would be to authorise, man to authorise, not for them, and implement an English or American, a universal basic income trust fund, realm-wide, Greece, Italy, Spain, Morocco, Romania. Then everybody, every man, would be able to have the time to do work on what they are required to do or to work on within themselves, spiritually, physically and mentally. The .gov UK and QE2, they want to do it the other way around, where they say we have to have a health system and it is funded so vastly, you know, and we have to have a criminal justice system and a policing system that's so intricately huge. Now, if we now switch the process, I'm sure the universal basic income will make man healthier. It will stop man from wanting to commit crime or feeling the need of having to break the rules to feed family and clothes on thy back. Man will want to be productive. Man will want to produce things in a society, in a community. They will want to contribute in their own unique way. Josh X, UNIQUE, I remember what you said about unique, used it on purpose. And I've seen this in communities firsthand, around the realm. in Greece, Italy, Spain, Hungary, a few places, and places that I've stopped off in between travelling. You see, we need the universal basic income. You don't have to apply for this. Everybody would qualify for it as a standard Catholic compensation. It has to be a set amount each month. You get £12,550 tax-free each year. Well, that's a good minimum standardised universal starting figure we would agree to start upon for the basic income. We as a family and trust should be working towards issuing and authorising a universal basic income for all. This will get the results we require, and this could possibly be built within a year. Not if the government do it, if we do it, all right? If the government do it, it'll be 20, 30, 40 years. This is the fastest way to get the equality to and in the cities, the capacities that I and you have seen and that have been filmed firsthand, such as Birmingham, and deserves and requires. Imagine if tomorrow no debts, as we're going to hold a debt amnesty. Like the knife amnesty, we want to have a debt amnesty. Everybody's debt, kaput, finish, done, finito, overnight. The crackheads wouldn't want that, do they? What you saying, Rockefeller? What you saying, Bank of England, Marconi, Soros? What? Shut him down. You get the basic universal income on the next day you've been declared. You're all bankruptcy, we're all insolvent, we're not solvent at all, we can't stick to anything. So insolvent to solvent, let's stick on this path. At this point, I asked G-Star for his permission because I was making notes as he was chatting away. I'm talking back, but I'm not, I'm concentrating. And then I said, G, can I put this on, can I speak about this? Can I relay this? This is heavyweight, this is real, his flow, his passion, his drive. I interrupted him a little bit and he said, yeah, we continue on. The police would get better instantly overnight. Cressida Dick, the highest rank and file officer, this is news to your shell likes. People, London, Birmingham, Manchester, Scotland, Edinburgh, Dundee. Oh, come on, yes. Islanders, everywhere. Young people don't want to die. I know that. I meet them. I go out there. I talk to them. I fist bump them. They don't want to commit crime. I know they don't. They now need our help. Look like the less abled, and we need to help and heal them. And the health department, as you'll find from dispatches, it's not happening. So the health system, that's gone now. We get rid of the health department. We'll replace it. The universal basic income is there. We can now heal. We have the time to heal. Health department, you're not needed. We don't need you anymore. You've done more damage than good. Crime and murder will reduce rapidly, guaranteed. Suicides and recreational drug deaths, you can take years to heal if you want. The productive people that can see the Assisis of the Vatican and Basil, these accounts with the gold in, and trembling now, the keepers of these, the productive people that still want to be in the equivalent, what would be equivalent to the commercial realm, would still be in that realm, being productive, helping things move, participating, managing. But those that, like me, that couldn't keep still, want to get involved, want to help, to balance it out, you can do that. You can invest. We can have open source research, open source health system, open source money, open source religion and spiritual, main computers, getting your phone and just going, hello, I'm here, signing in with a thumbprint, done. Oh, it's John. Right, John, what do you want? Money. You want to do that? Oh, yes, I think I'll do that today. See where we're going? System's going to crash. It is coming very quickly. So if you want to be involved and you want to be a protector, an ambassador, getting on with stuff, looking after the ones that are less able and going out, teaching, educating, repairing the damage that from the... Thank you. You get it. Take a breath. Yeah, you take time out with a fam. And let's be honest, all will become better. There will be more money, liquidity, credit. Everybody will have we call it love, all right? There'll be more love. And they'll have an equal, fair, unrestricted income, direct from the Treasury Direct account and direct funds, contained in the Vatican's master trusts, Sesta K and the Sesta KV, the monarchy trusts, all of the quasi, everything is coming out on the table. Man can transfer via endorsement and use the credit on what they want. We will control the credit. This will change the constitution of the financial and banking market realm in a positive and better way. The debt amnesty should be an agenda or manifesto. Jeremy, Amber, Queen Elizabeth. The pollution from greedy corporations and a cyclical consumption that must continuously grow and expand in its nature will die at last. Death to the dead corpses that are killing Gaia and the creators created kingdoms. Jack Fresco, RIP, the Venus Project, resource-based economy. There are some complexities with regards to the banking and commercial debt system. I've put death instead of debt, sorry, it's debt system. How they change and adjust and adapt mortgages, credit, loans, property, titles. It seems that we are meant to be kept in this lower vibratory shadow contract, fear and misery debt chain. We need to look at property overall, immediately, as you see it, and the complexities within it. It's not simple, but it is a simple solution. If you go onto universal basic income, you can choose what to do, learn, or go on an enterprise initiative. You can develop yourself spiritually if you want. If you so wish, you may not want to get involved in the commercial. You may need to take a break, I understand. As you may be a conscientious objector. You know, they might not want to cheat their abundance that they're about to get given now. From sanctioning to abundance, imagine that. We are being forced to do things in this present system in many complex public, commercial and legal performance areas. Yes, gee. Everybody comes out of debt and everybody is looked after equally, and the vulnerable are prioritised. Starving children are finally fed. Come on. At that point, if ever there was a ghostly type luminescent figure of angelic, I'm going to bring up Joan of Arc soon, to come through and that would be the moment. That's when we'd all be sovereign. When the children of the land, Africa, Ethiopia, and are finally fed. Done. If we're talking about love, that's what love is. It's telling man and letting man know you're not going to be dragged across the high court coals and to be put to death legally and housed like a pallet for a civil issue, to pay your debts, fines, fees and whatever, forfeits to society, you know, to fed to the lions, to pay these debts that aren't even debts because we're all in debt. We're not going to let you fall into the fiery pits of hell. We are not allowing man to die furthermore. Much like the homeless man outside Parliament, and RIP to all the fallen dead souls murdered. We won't let man be vulnerable and not to be able to look after themselves anymore when the great creator has provided for us in law, in spirit and in nature. We have 3 kingdoms. We're not even in control of one. This is the same problem as sanitation in Africa. Hear me out. They can't seem to get it right, yes? The people are defecating in holes and emptying the waste into the river, the same river that they drink from. Ganges, India also. So the children drink the water, the families drink the water, they play in the water, they wash in the water, they end up with dysentery, sickness and disease and early mortality. This is happening to 1,000 people a day, approximately. That's a huge number, fam. This is why we are trying to get toilet sanitary facilities installed in various countries and places, not just food, water, and shelter. We sold sanitation, and this is comparatively the same problem with the United Kingdom debt-based social civil system. We have a problem. People are dying okay. Bottom line. Sorry for the pun. Bottom line. Quite emotional. There's page 8 of 10. I've got stuff to do. I am rushing it a bit. I want to get through it. I'm sorry. But if you're loving it, share it, take it. The document will be released soon. You have permission to take and redo and add to and run with it. Greg says, do it, Dave. Do it passionately. Get it out there and say it. See what the fans say. So, man is spiritually dying. I've been around many parts of the realm, and all I have seen are sad and starving via sanctions and arrested development on a spiritual, intellectual and loving level. the world is not happy. None of it that I have seen. We now need an open flow of energies against the bankers and the elite groups, the death cults, aka our commonality, our enemies, the divided pagan club of Rome that are performing the totalitarian tiptoe. Thank you, David Icke. They have put a shadow contract on man. They are trading souls with certificates, assumption and presumption, constructed statutory trusts. None of it is kosher. They want us to live under the force of law, in fear and misery, to be pushed and pushed and pushed, and then to be squeezed for your remaining juice until every ounce of life has been extracted from you, as if you're a golden bar. And the elite, they live in absolute luxury. We're going to take advantage of you, and we shall live in luxury while you serve us and take care of the national debt, and we steal your equity. You know, it's on a scale that is unimaginable. They'll drive £20 million cars and have £300 million yachts. They'll put gold flakes on the cornflakes as well as in their alcoholic drinks, all right? When it comes to law, we need a declaration. We need to declare on an international level, and they're going to be mandatory rules to be followed and enforced verbatim. The government must now respect and honour the duty of care to the human race. We're at ease, all governments, not just the UK, not just the UKG, the USG, all. And since it is clear they will and cannot, respect and honour the duty of care to the race of human, we shall consider relieving them of their duties with regards to performing the functions and controlling the credit ourselves, or through an AI automated system. I've asked for the crypto kids, I've asked for these type minds to come through and work with us with what we're doing. This is the bare bones raw basic premise, all right? An AI automated system that would be brought to you via your media devices and the wireless digital network. There must be a declaration in law until we cross-pollinate and move over to the private, an interim emergency measure. Don't you know you're the man? Don't you know you're the man? Stone Roses, Full Gold, is it? Don't let them take away your desire. Don't let them stamp out your fire. You're the man. You're the man. Even the sisters, you are the man. No more fool's gold on our cornflakes, yes? If man does not know his rights, then man does not know when his rights are being abused, stolen, taken away. And now, whilst you're all sat there in that torrent thinking, yeah, and ooh, and whatever, or that's not very good. I've heard that before, Dave. I think you're rubbish. I don't like your and G's chat. Fine, that's acceptable. Who knows about Joan of Arc? Who knows about the 17-year-old French girl called Joan of Arc? I bet many of you have heard of her. What did she do? She went out to see the King of France at the age of 17, and she allegedly got visited by 3 angelic non-human entities, and she spoke to the king and the council of, do your own research, I'm just gonna, and she presented a theory and says that she's been told that her presence on the battlefield with the soldiers at this pinnacle point, blah blah blah, and she was 17 in front of the high council of, in the French king's court, castles, chambers, battles afoot, and they put a 17-year-old girl in white for Joan of Arc in amongst the soldiers of the Francais. I'll leave it there. So the bottom line of what I've written here is that she ended up outsmarting the experienced French generals. She inspired and gave energy and love. She was a 17-year-old girl, allegedly, so I'm told, led to believe, and she had a vision, non-entities, a little bit out there, but they came down and spoke to her. She's gone to see the monarchy. She said a piece. That would be like me going to the Queen and saying, actually, I've got something to say to you, Elizabeth, and I believe your country's being attacked and usurped. The crowns, London, the Vatican. Do you want a hand? I've been told, but I haven't. But this is the equivalent of somebody going, you, me, anyone, and having a word with Elizabeth, and then Elizabeth sending you out with the blessing, going, go my child, do what you need to do, and letting you go and get on your way, and you being effective and winning and coming back. So tiny creations can do amazingly big and fantastic things. Little tiny, even sub-quantum, subatomic things amazingly big and fantastic things. And today's podcast and video blog, as I said at the beginning, was brought to you by the letter G and the shape of a star, the letter D and the shape of a tesseract, which is a cube within a cube, which is a higher dimensional geometry, which is hyperdimensional, leading back to the Sumerian Mesopotamia, and previously, you know, we are very proud of where we're at. I know we seem like weirdos and a bit scatty, but this is the way it downloads and comes out, and I'm very honoured to have a chat, to be privy to such chats like this, regular, with Andy, with Kev, with Matthew, with loads of you. But I had the time to write it and construct it, and I didn't feel before what I felt here, and this is in line with the publications and previous videos we've done, and how much you want to know how this system, you know, is enroped in it. Then the answers are here and clear. When man is connected to nature and spirit, we will receive the answers. The Hopi have told us this, and other such tribal, you know, gnosis, antiquities. We could know things from all time intuitively. Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet. Love is the key, and the future is now. I put Ciao Bella, lots of mozzarella, David and Greg, D&G, private and original presentation, splspro.com, the 10th, 2019, and it's actually the 9th. But by the time this gets released, it'll be the 10th. So he's doing a nice cover for it. You can have this for free. Shadow contracts, it'll be a PDF and a Word document. Shadow contracts, fear and misery versus basic minimum income. This is to be shared and promoted all around the realm and put to your politicians, leaders, elects, trustees, principals, executives, executors, and so forth, and expand on it, critique it, send it me back. I have 26 emails in one account on the .com to read. I'm going there later. I've got to catch up with two of the fam, Ayana, I believe, Sister Mia, is it, and Luke and Flatboy and Dodgy, and that's it then. Looking after the princess in my trusty capability. That was a privilege and a pleasure to bring to you. Sorry for the rush, but time, isn't it? Things are getting. I'll answer any questions about the upcoming seminar for, let me think, this Sunday, is it, Bradford, and then the Birmingham on the 6th of October. You know, if there's any issues, you need to email david@splspro.com, and I will answer all them later by this evening, I promise, and my other email accounts, .com stuff, and then Facebook last. That's getting saved. I'll wait for G to do the cover. The key competence Masters Guild for Officer Agent Interaction is done. We've got a document in 3 different types, which is your overall cover, introduction, preface. It's in a Word, a PDF, and a PowerPoint. It's one document, but there's 3 of it: Word, PowerPoint, PDF. Then there are 2 scenarios. Scenario 1 is the public commit joinder standard identity with an officer agent stop and search, and then scenario 2, document 5, is the same as 1, but then we would utilise the instrumentation, the conveyances, and we would then present the correct liability for the mister and present ourselves privately for a civil stop and search on the street. You know, we've got the preface here for you, the basic 101 written down, and we've got this testing scenario 1 and scenario 2, and you've got multiple choice answers, you've got yes and no answers, and you've got to type a sentence, and it will pick out the keywords, and there'll be a possible like 10 keywords you can fit. Once you've typed your answer, it will take out the ones that are correct and award you at the possible maximum for the word. So we've put leading questions in, even though this is basic 101, we've been quite, Steve and I on scenario 2, you'll find, have been quite crafty, fox-like with the way we've thought and laid it out. It's not easy, it is, it will be, but initially I don't expect everybody to pass it straight away. We'd like to present this to the UK Met Office, and anybody that's currently residing as an officer, if you'd like to take this key competence grading tool pack with you and give it out and let us know. If I'd be keen to do that, I would hold with Smithy or Kev or Josh or anybody that wants to be present with meetings with regards to the breaches and the infractions and the abuse and that's going off at the minute, and we could do this relatively easily by circulating the literature for free, and then we work on it like that. I'm very confident there are minimum, if not zero, errors, mistakes, grammatical errors. You may have a capital letter here and there. We're not in law, we're not at sea, we're not admirals, all right? We're not doing everything lowercase. We're going to make it standardised to some extent. We're not using it in a court. We're not presenting it for defence, all right? It's just a common man's babble, document that you just take, all right? You want to critique it and everything else, there will be ones that do that. So we've made it word perfect. We are aware that whatever we put out there for assessment and for your consideration will be subject to. It's not instructions or advice. This is just us sharing with you, all right? So we understand we get critiqued, we understand we get praised, and I'm grateful for both. We're in a very good place. I will check and sort everything that we need to, given in light that the princess is not very well, and it's only Thursday. We'll be all right. We're all good. Got till Sunday for the first meeting in Bradford. Very excited, very, very excited. I know Smithy is, and Pete and Steve. Thank you all. I'm going to say some comments, but I've seen a lot come up, and I know we've been on for a while, so wow. I'll try my best. I'll just look for any emergency things, and I can only see so many. Oh, good Lord, good Lord, good Lord. Super chat, we love super chat. Is it what in this world? You are a generous, loving scribe. Thank you. Always appreciated for the super chat. We love super chat. It crept in. I didn't even add it. It just got on, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful for you and all that do that. Donations and love. Fly, Quinn. If I see out that I need to speak of, I'll say it. Otherwise, I'll just do the name calling shout out, as it is now, and then we're off. Yes, Kev. Kev, we need to chat about land registry DSAR reply. Get your head around that, and then give me a call maybe tomorrow or later if we could, please. Thank you. Quinn. Let's get some equality. Put one on my head. Quinn, Jesse, Stephen, Easy. They'll only be able to record the meeting. Yes, I'm recording the Birmingham annual. It won't be live, but I want to review my productivity, performance, and the way I am now compared to how I used to. So as I will be speaking, and we're having the Birmingham event as the annual meeting and seminar, there will be a live private recording going off, and I will be recording it and capturing the ones that attend. You can have a chat with me in front of or away. That's my want, wish, requirement and desire, as I am the one organising that one, and partly responsible, mostly responsible, liable, and want to review. There will be a full recording on my Tube account, but the recording, it goes unlisted, private, so I don't have to use all my memory card, mess about like that, and it will be streamed to this Indiglo privately. Then I'm going to download it, then I'll delete it, and then I'll edit it, then I'll re-upload it. So that's what's going down for Birmingham. If you are objected to being seen and disclosed in the public, then this is your warning advice notice now, and I will post it on the .com, and I will make it seen that the camera is on, capturing a live private stream for me to download and edit later on and then delete. Okay? Yes, yes, Chill Star, Fly. Lev, thank you. Jesse, killing. Stop it. Jesse, can you not make Clint an account? Shivite, big up, nice one. There's the good, thank you. Quinn. Love to come to the meetings, but no iron horse. Oh well, you don't. There's others are coming that don't have an iron horse. I'm not having a go, but that's not really. Mountain Mohammed, Mountain, you make your excuses and they are acceptable, that's fine. I'm sorry you can't come. We'd like as many as poss, and this is maybe going to be the last meeting till next summer, so we're not doing them every week, but maybe going back to Bradford if it's productive. And yeah, we'll go back and say hello monthly. Yes, flies offered lifts coming from Chesterfield. Nice one. Easy now. I still haven't been up the Sheffield way. I'd come to see you fly, so I'm still stuck around doing bits and bobs. Alright, Kevin, Quinn, you are chatting. P9, Alan, easy now. Thank you. Super. Kev, we need to chat, yeah, later or tomorrow. Yes, chill star. Always with the capitals. Always with the... Come on. An attention span of a gnat. Thank you. I know they have. Usurpation of the law. Yes, Jerry. Loving it. Thank you, Fly. I'll look at the comments later. I promise you, I'm just skimming. It's food time. I gotta tend to the princess. Give her some vitamins, nutrition. Check on her work. Have a chat. Happy Mondays, yes, Leeds. Apache 23. Apache Moonshine 23. These fellas walk the talk, which is the difference. Oh, will do, and nice to meet. Oh, thank you, boys, brothers, sisters. Nice one. That's made me tingle a little bit and give me a smile on the boat race. Look. All right. Yes, Kev. We'll chat later. Dave, your transport just arrived. Put the two vids on private so no one can see them rather than delete them. Yeah, we can. Yeah, I know, but I'd like to have an edit and then see, you know, because sometimes a 8-hour video is all very well and good, but if you can convert that down to interesting, just the talks for 4 hours, it's better. But I hear what you're saying, and thank you. Get them vibrational thoughts out. That was an ambulance. That's what it was. It wasn't the plod. Wow. So if you've got any conversations that you've had that you might want to share with us and take away personal, private, or even leave on and give out alter egos, and do so, we'll take great pleasure in sharing them. Or sit like a... Good Lord, there's so much to adhere to when you're on this thing. Sorry, ladies. Right, I'm off. Thank you very much. We'll be back. And we'll be in Bradford Sunday. I've got to touch base with brother Steve, Luke, and sister Mia, and then that's it. I'm mostly nursing Florence Nightingale, myself, Joan of Arc. What? Let's go. Much love, scribes. Peace and love.